Okay, this is the beginning. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be showing you a bunch of plush and puppet shows of... Why am I wearing China? Okay, and now we're going to be showing you about Imperial China, so we hope you enjoy.
Enjoy!
After the Han Dynasty ended in 220 AD, China had no central government. China became unified in 581 AD, when a general named Wendy declared himself emperor.
He founded the Sui Dynasty. When Wendy died, his son Yangdi became emperor. Yangdi had more success at expanding the dynasty. He repaired the Great Wall of China.
Yangdi forced farmers to work on the Great Wall of China. The farmers had to pay higher taxes to support the project. The taxes also paid for the emperor's luxurious life, which made the farmers angry. They revolted and killed Yangdi. This ended the Sui Dynasty. Here's your hammer, now go work on the Great Wall of China. You paying higher taxes helps with these projects. It also helps with my luxurious life.
I hate you!
Ah! In 618 AD, one of Yangdi's generals took over. He founded the Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty lasted for about 300 years.
Tang rulers worked to restore a strong central government. They made reforms. Yeah.
Merchants in Chang'an sold goods from places far away.
May I have a taco, please?
Okay, I'll just get you a taco in 1 second, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Traders and missionaries from India brought Buddhism to China during AD 100s. At that time, everyone was fighting and Buddhism offered peace. Early Tang rulers did not practice Buddhism, but they didn't interfere with it. They also improved the Buddhist buildings. Many Chinese Buddhists joined a religious community called monasteries. They lived, worked, and worshipped in this community. The men were monks and the women were nuns, and they helped local people. Although numerous Chinese became Buddhists, many people opposed the religion because they thought that Buddhist temples and monasteries had grown too wealthy, and they thought monks and nuns weakened respect for family life since they were not allowed to marry. Tang officials feared Buddhism's growing influence, and they saw Buddhism as an enemy of China's Confucian traditions.
Confucian traditions are customs related to the teachings of Confucius.
In AD 845, the Tang government destroyed many Buddhist monasteries and temples. Buddhism in China has never fully recovered from these attacks. In the AD 300s, Chinese Buddhists brought their religion into Korea. Korean government favored Buddhism, and it attracted a ton of followers in Korea. Buddhism spread to Japan.
Confucius believed that a good government depended on having wise leaders. Han rulers were based on Confucian principles. They gave exams so they could choose well-educated, talented officials. After the fall of the Han Dynasty, China had no central government to give civil service exams. Confucius went into decline, and Buddhism gained followers. It was not until the Tang and Song dynasties that Confucian began to grow again. The Tang and Song dynasties created Neo-Confucianism. This was created to stop the growing influence of Buddhism. Tang and Song rulers saw Neo-Confucianism and civil service examinations as a way to strengthen the government. When the Han Dynasty ended in the AD 200s, China's economy fell apart. China's economy recovered after the Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty gave more land to farmers. Farmers improved irrigation methods and started to grow tea. Because new foods were being grown, China's population increased. Farmers moved from North to South China. Travel became much easier after Tang rulers built roads and waterways. The Silk Road opened up again. Silk was in high demand. China also traded tea, steel, paper, porcelain, and Chinese burned wood to cook and heat up their houses. Chinese used coal to heat furnaces to high temperatures. Melted iron plus carbon from coal made steel. Chinese made armor, swords, helmets, stoves, farm tools, nails, drills, and sewing needles with steel. Chinese invented paper during the Han Dynasty. In the Tang Dynasty, paper was mass-produced. In the making of paper, they invented a method for printing books so that it was less expensive to make them. In woodblock printing, the printer was used on a wooden block. It carved the page's Chinese characters onto the block, and then they put black ink on the block and pressed the paper against it. The earliest known printed book is a Buddhist book called the Diamond Sutra. A Chinese printer named Disheng fixed the problem of not being able to type and use letters again by creating the movable type. Printing led to the invention of paper currency. Chinese traders needed more money for business, but the Chinese didn't produce enough copper coins. In AD 1024, the Chinese began to print the world's first paper money, which helped the economy grow. The Chinese also invented gunpowder, which was used in explosives and weapons, and also fireworks. The Chinese built large ships and magnetic compasses.
Many of these Chinese inventions would have amazing effects on Europe. Literature was made available and popular after the invention of woodblock printing. Scenic art flourished in this period. Chinese poets wrote about the beauty of nature, changes of seasons, and the joys of friendship. They also wrote about the sadness of death. Daoism influenced the way people are portrayed in landscape paintings, and humans were shown as very small figures in landscape paintings, as shown here. The Chinese also wrote beautiful characters called calligraphy. During the Tang Dynasty, Chinese artisans became very skilled at making porcelain. Porcelain can be made into figurines, vases, cups, and plates. Methods for making porcelain spread to other parts of the world, which spread to Europe in the AD 700.
By the AD 1200s, the Chinese had made many improvements in government, technology, and arts. But at the same time, the Mongols were preparing to invade the north. The Mongols came from Mongolia, and they lived in movable tents called yurts, and raised horses, sheep, and yaks. The Mongols lived in clans, which were loosely joined together, while the animals grazed in the large steppes.
The Mongols were great horseback riders, and their children learned to ride horses at ages 4 or 5. The Mongols also developed their fighting skills, which consisted of riding their horses, shooting arrows, and then attacked with swords and spears. In AD 1206, the Mongols had a meeting in Gobi. In that meeting, the Mongols elected a warrior named
Me!
to be Genghis Khan.
Yeah, I'm Genghis Khan now.
Genghis Khan set out to unify clans. He organized Mongol laws to form a new legal code and formed a group of clan chiefs to help him plan military campaigns.
My beard is getting stuck to my mouth.
From when he was elected until he died, he fought to conquer new lands.
Genghis Khan created an army with more than 100,000 soldiers and separated them into units, which were under control by skilled officers. These armies were chosen on their abilities, not their social position, which made the Mongols the most skilled fighting force in the world at that time. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongols captured other people of the steppe, then later captured northern China and the Silk Road. Soon, the Mongols began to be known for their cruel fighting and use of terror. Most people started to surrender without fighting. I am going to kill people now. No, do not kill me. When Genghis Khan died in AD 1227, his territory was split between his sons. They captured Eastern and Central Europe, as well as Persia. In AD 1259, the Mongols captured Baghdad, then the Mongols moved to Syria and Palestine to Egypt.
But the Muslim leaders in Egypt stopped their abundance in AD 1260. All of these areas formed a great Mongol Empire, which stretched from the Pacific Ocean in the east to Eastern Europe in the west, to Siberia in the north, and the Himalaya in the south. This created the largest empire in history. The Mongols caused lots of damage to the lands that they conquered, but they brought stability, which encouraged trade and closer contact with Europe and Asia.
The Mongols admired the cultures they captured and sometimes adopted their beliefs and customs. The Mongols learned about gunpowder from the Chinese and the fire lance, which they adopted from the Chinese. In AD 1260, the grandson of Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan, became the new Mongol leader, and he continued to conquer new lands. In AD 1264, he made the new capital, Kanabalia, which is today Beijing. In 1271, Kublai Khan decided he would control all of China, so he conquered the rest of southern China, and in AD 1279, which ended the Song dynasty, and declared himself emperor, which started the Yuan dynasty, which lasted for about only 100 years. To keep control of these areas, Kublai Khan appointed Mongol leaders to the top jobs in China. The Mongols had their own language, laws, and customs.
The Hunan region did not use civil service examinations, so government jobs were open to the non-Chinese people, although they allowed Chinese people to keep their posts. The Mongols practiced Buddhism, but they were respectful of other religions. Under Mongol rule, China reached the height of its wealth and power and money. People were attracted to China. One of the most famous European travelers to make it to China was Marco Polo.
I already started.
Kublai was fascinated by Marco Polo's stories, and he sent Polo on trips across the region to gather information. The Mongol Empire stretched from China to Eastern Europe, so Mongol China prospered from increased trade. The Yuan dynasty also built ships, and China traded tea, silks, and porcelain. Mongol armies advanced into the Vietnam and northern Korea, but the rulers of Korea stayed in control because they were agreed Mongol control and they were forced to build ships. When they tried to invade Japan, they failed because of bad storms. A series of weak emperors ruled after Kublai Khan's death in 1294 AD. Mongol power decreased. The Ming dynasty was formed. It ruled for the next 300 years. During the Ming period, Chinese writers produced novels. Ming emperors built ships to discover new lands. What's the problem? The sheep keeps popping up. Rachel, you like this Call of Duty?
No, no, no!
Early Tang rulers did not practice Buddhism, but they didn't interfere with it. They also approved the Buddhist buildings. Many Chinese Buddhists joined religion communities like stuff.
Century turret!
You're putting a mermaid tail on.
I'm cold though. It's warm.
I got your feet on camera. I hope that doesn't offend anyone.
Hey guys, alright, I hope you enjoyed our show, and that if we ever make one again, you might want to be excited to see it, because this is probably not that good, because I haven't edited it yet, because I'm doing that right now. But thanks for watching.
And I just helped her film and stuff.
Centipede.